I am so pleased and so honored and so excited to tell you this news. We made it. We made it. And even at times I had wondered and had doubt and didn't walk in my faith that we weren't going to make it. Allow me to elaborate. Effectively, on September 18th and 19th, collectively, we made a quantum shift, a jump in the timeline. Everyone is speaking of the timelines, right? Everyone is talking about all of the timelines funneling down to just two roads, right? Two roads, the high road and the low road, that we are funneling down. And which road do we choose? Do we choose the high road? Do we choose the low road? And how does that all work? And no one really understood. Excuse me. What exactly that entails. And I am fully prepared and excited to explain to you just exactly what has taken place. But before I do so, let me back up to Monday and Tuesday, September 18th and the 19th. If you will recall, if any of you have watched the video, I made a video speaking of the extreme dizziness that I experienced and how I went into a transcendental meditation and I went into the Earth's core and I felt for the poles and I was trying to stabilize the planet, and I could visually see and physically feel the Earth's magnetic field plummet and then bounce with buoyancy, ricocheted back out. Okay? Like if you jumped on a trampoline, how the trampoline would dip in and then spring back up as your body comes off of the trampoline. So this is essentially what happened. This is exactly what happened to our planet. And you can check the data on that. If you need to fact check what I'm saying, please do so. Check the data. It's all out there for you to see. Many people on YouTube are reporting about this. And then there are many institutions that have these instruments themselves, where you can go to their own website and look at it from their website to go straight to the source to see the magnetic fields of the planet, the shields of the planet, the solar activity, so on and so forth. And the solar flares that we had experienced between 1 and 3 days prior to Monday and Tuesday were very intense and not the strongest we've ever experienced either, mind you, but they were very intense, and they occurred at a very pivotal, important moment for us, because collectively we had gained enough momentum to tip the balance in our favor of a better timeline, of a better matrix. Okay? Now, as I was saying, backing up to Monday and Tuesday, I experienced this first in my own awareness. I experienced this first. And then throughout the entire week, I was contacted by multiple clients and multiple friends and multiple collaborators who all were telling a very similar story. Some of them even had markings on them, much like I do, physical markings. I have a strange dotted line of tiny scabs on my arm, and at least one other person that I know of now has the very same interesting markings also on an arm, and experienced very bizarre timeline shifts. She was fully aware that this must be some type of timeline shift because of what had occurred in her own experience. So all of these people are telling me they have flu-like symptoms or suddenly felt ill, like they're getting sick. Dizziness occurred, strange happenings within their day, feeling very off in their day. The day seeming like it went much faster than the clock was saying that it was transpiring. For example, it was 4 o'clock. No, I'm sorry. It was like 7 o'clock in one person's mind, but they thought that it was only around 4. And they couldn't explain that. And for myself personally, my children and I, we homeschool, and we were completely finished with school by 2 p.m., and I didn't understand how we had gotten through school so quickly, because normally we would go till 5. And that was an interesting thing for us. So all of these people are experiencing very similar, if not the same, things with time slipping and feeling off and feeling like they were getting a little ill or about to be, getting a cold or something, trying to get a cold, and felt just very out of sorts, and the dizziness as well. And this was because of our magnetic field. It essentially flatlined and then bounced back up very quickly. Now, the bouncing back up very quickly was because of light workers such as myself, who are more like a pole worker, where we are actually working with the poles of the planet and the energies of the planet and the shields and all of that to ensure the safety of the entire planet. And there are enough of us working now that we are doing very well at this shielding and this balance, retaining this balance. However, after being contacted by multiple individuals by Thursday's time, I sat down and again went into a transcendental meditational state, and I called upon the angels and I called upon Source, and I asked for explanations to what was going on. And the confirmation came that our parallel reality is now funneling down and no longer needed. And so in that, I asked again to be shown how can I explain this better to the public so that they will understand it from simpler terms, for all of the ones who don't have the knowledge or the science or the information to help them to comprehend these words that I use further. So I was essentially shown how all of us, like I explained to people before, I'm in my world, you're in your world, Dick and Jane are in their world, and sometimes our worlds connect or collide in some cases, but our worlds will intermingle, and that is the quantum entanglement of it, is the intermingling. But essentially, I'm in a world and you're in a world and they're in a world, and it's our own little world, it's our own little universe. And so you are your own black hole, you are your own sun, you are your own moon, if you understand what all of those aspects truly represent, because you are the creator and you are the magnetism, you are the recycler of the energies, and you are the controller. If you're the moon, you're the controller of the ebbs and tides and the flow and of the emotion of it all. the influence. So you are essentially the trinity of your own universe. And so you have your own universe, and I have my own universe, and so on and so forth. And our little universes intermingle at times. And then within that space of me having my own universe, we'll take it a step further to understand the many worlds theory of there are multiple Kellys in multiple dimensions, multiple realities, all simultaneously experiencing various things. And this is a necessary parallel reality formation that was created in order for us to gather and learn the information as quickly as possible. Because it cannot be done in one lifetime alone. You would need multiple lifetimes, and they would need to be compacted and delineated to their proper spots in order for you to obtain all of the knowledge and all of the wisdom that is necessary moving into this great awakening time that we now find ourselves in. And so in that, at this time now, where we have successfully quantum leaped into a new timeline, if you will, our parallel worlds, our many worlds theory, are culminating and collapsing upon one another to where we will no longer need to take small bits and pieces from here and there and there and there and there to use and utilize in this lifetime, but we will take all of the bulk of the knowledge as a whole, and essentially you, the one here in this reality that we call Earth, that is in the now with me in this reality, we are being downloaded and compacted, or having the doors opened to the entire library of the Akashic Record, rather than only having a few books of each volume. We will now possess the entire set, the entire collection, you see. So, and that is a great analogy for how to understand the many worlds theory, is that you are here currently in this world, volumes 1 through 3, we'll say, and the other you in another dimension that is still this same very planet, just another dimension of this planet, another reality of this one planet, are volumes 4 through 6, and so on and so forth. Each one of your multiple yous is another set of the volumes to a complete set. And so at this time, our parallel convergence, our soul convergence, is funneling down not just from the two timelines to one, but the many worlds theory parallels to one, to where we now have a condensed, compact zip drive of information of all of those many worlds existence and lessons and experiences. So an easy analogy for me to explain this to you with would be similar to excuse me, how all of the social media platforms have a timeline, right? And you can follow multiple groups and multiple people, but only a few of them actually show up on your timeline because of the algorithms of how many likes or shares or comments or whatever it was of interaction between you and these different people. So your algorithms would show only a few different spread out varieties of the bulk of who you follow or are friends with or whatever on your social media group, right? Like Facebook, for example. And so now Because of the quantum leap that has successfully occurred, your Facebook timeline, we'll say, for an example, is suddenly filled with more information from more aspects of the people that you are friends with or the groups that you follow that you weren't seeing before will be on your timeline. And the more negative things that no longer mesh with you, that you are not in vibration with any further, are falling away, and you will not see them near as often, and eventually not at all. So this integration will take some time, and day by day you will experience differences coming into your awareness, new aspects of yourself, your psychic abilities, your awareness being broader, your vibration being higher, and so the lower aspects, the lower vibrations of you are what is necessary to be purged from your body at this time. And I asked, what was the purpose of everyone feeling ill, and even some of us having some markings on us for this. And this was the markings were to say, pay attention and do not negate the awareness of what has just transpired, and that it is something deeper than what you think it is, if you will, and or broader than you think it is. And also the flu-like illnesses, the cold symptoms, whatever it was that everyone felt, and even children are experiencing this as well. Children and adults both are experiencing these symptomatic occurrences, physical occurrences, that are necessary because this is a soul purging of the lower vibrations that are no longer necessary for us. For example, you will find yourself as you are moving forward and becoming more aware of all of your abilities and attention and how well you can expand it further, zoom out further in your understandings of things. You will no longer need to be confrontational. You will no longer need to feel defensive. You will no longer even feel like you want to be around and associate with the lower vibratory people. And so these urges that were within you to explain yourself or to be defensive or to give a reaction to the negative aspects of other people's energy being focused upon you is of no interest to you now. This is going to be what you notice, is that it's no longer of an interest because you are physically purging it from your body at this time. And because it is a soul convergence that is happening, a soul purging must also be present. And this can be present in the form of feeling like you are taking ill. It could also be in the presence of profuse sweating for a time being, or very frequent urination, lots of crying for no reason, all of which are ways for the body to purge the negative emotions and negative energies from the body. Anything that causes a dis-ease within the body is now being purged. So by all means, take your zinc and your vitamin C and whatever else you use when you feel like you're about to be ill, and drink plenty of water at this time. And also, that's another thing, focus your attention on your water being very clean and very healthy for you as you are consuming it. And it is as simple as focusing those thoughts and putting that alchemical energy into the water that you drink. being thankful for it, being grateful for it, etc., are all good energies to apply to it alchemically as you are quenching your thirst and hydrating your body and allowing it the extra fluids that are necessary for the purging of the old energies and the old paradigm. But this is very much excuse me, you see, very much a big timeline jump that has occurred. And this is the ending of our parallel universes. But I want to also explain that the people who do not choose to do any type of inner work or shadow work or further growth in their own soul at this time, in this lifetime, as well as those that we would deem very neutral or bad or low vibration, extreme low vibration people, they will all be magnetically pulled in one direction, as we are all magnetically pulled in another direction, and we will eventually repel away from one another, just as the poles do. Just as the North and the South Pole, or two magnets, will repel away from each other, because the energies do not match, and we are creating a new earth. We are creating a heaven on earth. We are the meek inheriting the earth, if you will, and creating a new way to view the matrix, and understanding that the matrix is not a prison, that it is not an entrapment, that the only entrapment of the matrix that ever existed was the thought of it that was in your mind, whether it was from your own thought or that you were convinced because of others telling you that it's a prison planet of a matrix. And understanding that the true word matrix, in its definition, means the womb of creation. And you are the creator. I am the creator. So we essentially collectively create the matrix. We are the ones that created it to begin with, and we are the ones that are unlocking the doors, the proverbial doors, that were only blocks in our mind, and ushering in a new way to view the matrix, live in the matrix, and have the matrix to exist. Similarly to how we've put so much focus and attention on the matrix that it is now located in 5 places in the Holy Bible, which was never there before. But again, I remind you, the matrix is the womb of creation. And we create. We give birth to new life daily in all that we do. But you are now coming into a new way of being, where you are refocusing your thoughts, and you are understanding that you are that creator, little by little, day by day, gaining your courage and your confidence to become a better creator, and a better creator, and a better creator. And this is the time of the second coming of Christ. But it is not in the form that we were told, such as in the Holy Bible, because this is a collective Christ consciousness. The second coming of Christ is you understanding Jesus' true message, which is what I am here to finish. That you and I can go forth and do the same great works as He, and more. And this quantum jump, this timeline shift that we just did together collectively is evidence and proof of that more that we can do. It's the absolute proof. You are a creator. You are of Christ consciousness. And we are who we've been waiting for. Just as I've always told you. Now, a lot of people were suspect that something was big to happen around the 23rd of September. But again, I will remind you that this actually took place on the 18th and the 19th. And this something big that happened is the second coming of Christ. Christ consciousness. Because this was a pivotal moment. This was a very telltale sign that there are enough of us, light workers, awakened ones, chosen ones who heard the calling and accepted the call to move forward and usher in this Christ consciousness into our matrix. And we have tipped the balance for the good. This is a soul convergence. So this is the true definition of the harmonic convergence that you have heard many people speak of in the past. This harmonic symphony that we are creating has actually never been done before. Business as usual allows you to bring into this awareness any given things that are learned in the other lifetimes, which are all of the now, past, present, future, simultaneous, many worlds theory parallels. And now, in this timeline, this quantum leap, we bring with us all of our knowledge, all of the many lifetimes worth of experience, as if the Hull of Records, the Akashic, has suddenly opened and downloaded or compacted into a zip drive for us to obtain, for us to be able to integrate into this being that we call our soul, our higher self, if you will. Our higher self is coming more into full form in our soul trinity of the mind, body, spirit, and we are integrating. We are integrating with a harmonic convergence for a new truth that each of you will now carry forward with you day by day, and you will start to see more awareness, more abilities coming to the forefront, more truths being realized. And of course there are people that you can still turn to for guidance, such as myself, if ever you are slightly unsure of any of the experiences that you are now going to be having, because they will be different every day. They will gain momentum, and every day you will build upon those experiences and add to your repertoire of knowledge and wisdom, because this is the time for you to step into your true power that will allow you to choose better in both your thoughts and your deeds or actions moving forward, so that we will create the heaven on earth, the Age of Aquarius scenario, or whatever other label you would choose to put on it. But bottom line, we're creating a better planet for all of us to live on, that's abundant and prosperous and fair and balanced, without the extra chaos. Now, that is not to say that this is going to be all peaches and cream and kumbaya. we will still find obstacles to overcome and things that could deter us or aggravate us at times, but they will not be the extreme chaos that we have experienced from the past. They will be more milder versions of lessons for us to continue our growth and our journey. So I also asked, while I was in meditation, for a way to explain to you how you can further understand this new earth theory that we are creating. Because a lot of you are familiar with Dolores Cannon's works, and Dolores Cannon would explain that there will be a new earth and an old earth, and they will look the same, and they will be right next to each other, but in parallel universes. Well, in some ways she comprehended that quite true, and in other ways she had difficulty in her articulation for you to completely understand what this means. So, let's say you have a best friend that is your on again, off again friend. Because sometimes you vibe, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you vibe, sometimes you don't. You're growing, you're accelerating, and they're really not. They choose to gossip or judge people too much or break the law or whatever, right? Whatever it is, it's lower vibrational things that they choose to do. So you would ask, okay, am I going to the new earth and they're going to stay on the old earth? Well, the answer is yes, but no. So yes, they will be on this earth and you will be on this earth, but it will be your perception of the world we all live in that is a better perception, and so you will experience more abundance and nourishment and joy and good luck, if you will, happier, more prosperous things. And they will continue to be in the heavier energies where they're experiencing lots of lessons in order to evolve and grow. And so, on the one hand, they will view you as something they aspire to be, or a place they aspire to go to eventually, the way that Christians hope to one day be in heaven, you see, in the peaceful place, the loving place, the all-knowing place where there is none of this experience anymore. And so they will not be in your world anymore. Your vibrations will not be intermingling so much until eventually they flow apart completely. And there is a complete segregation or separation from this energy for you and for them as well. But you will still be over here to be reachable or attainable by them, for them, when they are ready to seek you. You will not seek them any further, and you will not try to help them or try to change them or try to convince them any further from where you once were. You will be in your own life creating the beautiful, abundant things for the majority, including self. And they will be able to find their way to you when they are ready to learn further and get a piece of what you have, basically. And of course, at that time, because we are embracing the second coming of Christ, which is Christ consciousness, we will indeed, with open arms, welcome even our enemy into our fold, into our wisdom, into our ability of sharing the knowing that we have, if their heart is pure in their intentions. And yes, you will know. You will know. Most definitely. Because the energy that you are now integrating is foolproof, beautifully created by an intelligent designer and orchestrated for you to know for sure by being the energy reader that you are now strengthening in becoming. And your bullshit radar is 100% on at all times. So you will know if they are coming to you with a pure heart or not, with pure intention or not. And you will also know if at any time that is adjusted and changed to a more negative aspect. You will pick up on it quickly, just as one Highlander can recognize another, and we understand that there can be only one Highlander, right? But for us, in this reality, there can be only one is one type of vibration that is acceptable to us for this new earth to be successful. And so we will not allow for these lower energies to come creeping back into our lives in their narcissistic, guilt-tripping ways that we had previously allowed. We will no further allow that. There are no more fucks to give, so to speak. None ones. Let me just go over my notes and make sure I haven't missed anything important. So yes, I think I have covered this very well for the notes that I have from my meditation. And of course, at any time, if you have any questions, by all means, leave your comments in the comment section of the video below. I read every comment that comes through, and I reply very quickly also. And again, I was very excited and very grateful and blessed and honored to be able to bring this message to you so that you too can know that we did it. Essentially, we have passed one of the biggest tests to be passed. And the irony in that is that you created the test that you then had to study for and pass. I love irony. I digress. Until next time, continue to be well and be blessed in love and light.